All right, let's talk about something huge. You want to buy a rental property, right? Well, today we're going to build the absolute dream team you need to make that happen. Let's dive in. And this right here, this is probably the number one thing that stops people cold. You think you have to do it all yourself. Find the deal, get the money, fix it up, manage the tenants. It's overwhelming. But here's the thing, it absolutely does not have to be that way.
So, the first thing we've got to do is completely change how you think about this. Forget the idea of being a solo genius. The reality? Real estate investing is a team sport. I mean it. The best investors out there, they aren't trying to do everything. No way. They're the general manager, the coach, assembling a killer roster of pros to win the game.
Okay, so who's on this team? Let's meet your starting lineup. These are the core players, the absolute essentials you need from day one. These are your non-negotiables. All right, first draft pick, your real estate agent. Seriously, think of this person as your lead scout. They're out there on the ground finding the opportunities. They live and breathe the local market, and they're your number one source for deal flow.
Now listen, there's a world of difference between just any agent and a great agent. A great one isn't just sending you stuff you can find online. No, they are digging up the hidden gems, the undervalued properties, the off-market deals nobody else knows about. They become your strategic partner when it's time to negotiate. Next up, your lender. This could be a bank or a mortgage broker, but either way, this is your financial muscle. This is where the real power comes from, the leverage that makes buying an expensive asset even possible in the first place. You see, your lender basically draws the financial map for your entire deal. They tell you how much you can actually afford, what your loan is going to look like, your interest rate, and, most importantly, what your monthly payment will be. Getting this piece of the puzzle right is, well, it's everything.
Okay, let's talk about the person who makes the vision a reality, your contractor. And look, there's so much more than just hammers and nails. They're the ones who help you see past the ugly paint and understand the true cost of turning a maybe into a heck yes. A good contractor is your reality check. You need one. Before you even think about buying, they can walk through a potential property and give you a real budget for repairs. This is how you avoid those nightmare money pits and figure out exactly how you're going to add value.
All right, so you found a great property, you know the rehab costs, now we have to protect this thing. That's where your insurance broker comes in. Think of them as the guardian of your investment, your defensive line.
And yeah, you could just call up one of the big insurance companies, but a broker is different. They work for you, not the insurance company. Their job is to shop around, find you the best coverage at the best price, and make sure you're totally protected from disaster without absolutely killing your cash flow.
And now for the final player in our starting lineup, and this one is the key to it all. The person who makes this a truly passive investment, the property manager. This is the CEO of your property, the person running the day-to-day business so you don't have to. I mean, really think about it. Do you really want to be the one getting a call at 2 a.m. about a clogged toilet? Of course not. A property manager handles all of it. Finding and screening tenants, collecting rent, dealing with repairs, they are literally the key to your freedom. So that's your core five, your starting lineup. But every great team needs a deep bench, right? As you grow, you're going to need specialists you can call in for specific situations. Let's look at who's on that roster. Okay, here's your extended team, your specialists. You've got the inspector, who saves you from buying a total disaster. The appraiser, who tells the bank what the property is actually worth. The title or escrow folks, who make sure the ownership is clean. And as you scale up, your CPA and attorney become crucial for optimizing your taxes and protecting you legally.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but let's get practical. How does this whole team actually work together in the real world, on a real deal? Let's do a little play-by-play.
Pretty much every deal breaks down into these 4 key stages. First, you find and fund. That's your agent and lender working together. Then, you inspect and renegotiate. That's your inspector finding the problems, and your agent using that info to get you a better price. Stage 3, close the deal. That's your title company. And finally, manage the asset. You hand the keys to your property manager. See, everyone has a role. Let's put some real numbers on this. Imagine your agent finds a great duplex for $600,000. You immediately call your lender who says, yep, we can do that with 20% down. All of a sudden, you have a concrete target. You need $120,000. Your lender just made the goal real.
Okay, now for the inspection. Turns out the roof is old and there's some plumbing issues. Uh-oh, right? Wrong. This is where your contractor is a hero. They walk through and estimate the repairs at, say, $25,000. Now that's not a problem, that's leverage. Your agent takes that estimate right back to the seller and negotiates a price drop or a credit. That's teamwork in action.
So we've seen all the players, all the moving parts. What's the biggest takeaway from all of this? What's the crucial mindset shift you need to have for success? It's all about redefining your job in this whole thing. I want you to really let this sink in. You are not doing the deal. Your job is not to be the agent and the contractor and the property manager. That's just a recipe for burnout and failure.
No, your job, your real job, is to assemble the team that does the deal. You're the team captain. Your most important skill isn't drywall or plumbing. It's finding and leading the experts. And that is the fundamental difference between just being a landlord and being a true real estate investor. It is the secret to doing this again and again and again.
Look, an investment property is an asset, sure, but your team is the machine that makes that asset run. So the real question isn't, can I do this? The real question is, who am I going to hire first?